good morning and welcome. We're glad to have you back on the program Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburiwo. The Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, is a leading recognized professional body in Nigeria that is dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. And let me also remind you that ICSAN is the only professional body authorized in Nigeria to conduct the examinations leading to the qualification of chartered secretaries and administrators. Today on the program, we're looking at the principles and the recommended practices on appointment to the board. Principles and recommended practices on appointment to the board. I have my guests seated right here in the studio. Our guest speaker is Mrs. JUSTINA LEWA, ACIS MIOD, member conference and AGM committee of ICSAN, immediate past company secretary and chief legal counsel, Sterling Bank PLC. She's also partner, CHAPITRE LLP, solicitors and advocates. Good morning, Justina.
Good morning, Fumi.
All right, thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. Also with us in the studio is Mr. Michael Omogun, Deputy Registrar Operations, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Omogun.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning, listener. Nice to be here.
Okay, great. Also here is Mr. Kayode Ketefe, Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning, our listeners.
All right, before we go on with our discussion this morning, let's take this. We'll be right back.
Hey, Obinna, good to see you. You look so worried. Is everything all right? I'm having serious issues in my company, balancing the interests of my company's many stakeholders like shareholders, management, customers, financiers, government, and communities giving us a problem. That has to do with corporate governance. Exactly. Then you need to get in touch with ICSAN. ICSAN? Yeah, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. They provide you with seasoned and top-ranking professionals trained to uphold the standards of corporate governance and efficient operations. You can also get in touch with ICSAN if you want to become a chartered secretary and administrator. Contact ICSAN by visiting the website www.icsan.org or call 009 06 601 69. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, ICSAN, definitely the hub of governance professionals. All right, like I said earlier, we're looking at the principles and recommended practices on appointment to the board. All right, so let's move to discuss the issue of appointment to the board. Why is it important to corporate governance? Justina.
Thank you. The issue of board appointment is key to corporate governance because the board is an integral part of the corporate governance framework, being the organ responsible for directing the affairs of the company. The board is therefore responsible for providing leadership, either directly or through its committees, to deliver long-term value to shareholders and other stakeholders. So it is critical that the board should have in place established criteria on appointment.
Okay.
The criteria should include skill set, knowledge, experience, age diversity, independence, among others, to ensure that persons appointed to the board have the capacity to effectively discharge their governance role and responsibilities. So in a nutshell, for me, appointment to the board is the highest responsibility that the board has, and hence the cliche that companies don't fail but boards do. So being appointed a director is a humongous responsibility, and that should not be taken lightly at all.
Okay. Now, the code recommends that recourse should be had to considerations such as the strengths and weaknesses of the existing board, integrity, required competence and skills, knowledge and experience, capacity to undertake the responsibility, among others. Now, looking at all these factors, why are they relevant to the appointment?
Well, they're relevant because the factors you just mentioned are some of the criteria established by the board that are relevant to appointment for the attainment of the appropriate balance on the board. With the right talent mix, the board can effectively discharge its governance role and responsibilities. The factors are also relevant to ensure that the board is better placed to contribute positively towards achievement of the business goals. Remember that the board is there to add value for the benefits of stakeholders, and the board's job is to make sure that this happens. If the board fails to have the appropriate balance and mix, it may not achieve its full potential and therefore underperform. I can tell you, Fumi, that no director wants to be a part of an underperforming board. Thank you.
Most definitely. Now, there is also the consideration of diversity, including gender diversity. Why do you think this is necessary?
I love this question because I'm an advocate of gender diversity.
Okay, that's good.
Not maybe because I'm a woman, but because it brings with it good to the board. So recently, there has been a lot of conversation around diversity, particularly gender diversity. And what is diversity all about? It's about age, skill set, experience, expertise, geography, ethnicity, independence, and gender. So for me, gender diversity is not only necessary, but matters. Not too long ago, many corporate organizations or companies had male-only boards, despite the progress made by women in leadership positions. So I'm happy that this position is fast changing and the status quo has been challenged. And now you find women occupy boardrooms of many companies, sitting shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts and bringing with them tenacity and a unique style of management and perspective. I would like also to share some statistics from McKinsey report of 2019. In Africa, according to that McKinsey report, that in Africa, 1 in 4 board members are female, beating second placed Europe at 23%, Latin America at 7%, Nigeria is at 21%, although slightly below other African nations of Botswana and Kenya. The McKinsey report concluded that companies that include women in their executive teams are 25% more likely to have above average profitability. So I would like to also look at the banking sector. You know, I'm coming from the banking sector.
Okay.
And we have a good representation of women on boards. And this is because the central bank brought a deliberate policy which stipulated that 30% of board seats should be occupied by women. And so with that, if you take a look at the board composition of most banks, you will see that there are women. And some of them are not just members, they are chairmen of those banks. So I'm really very happy that the status quo has been challenged and is doing well.
Okay.
So I would say that a diverse board generally will think creatively and differently, thereby performing better than a homogeneous board. Gender diversity adds flavor as it introduces a fresh perspective on the board for enhanced performance.
All right, that's really, really great. Now, it's provided by the code that it is necessary to reinforce the board by continually injecting new energy, fresh ideas, and perspectives. Now, don't you think the benefits here may be outweighed by the cost and time invested on continual replacements on the board?
Not at all, Fumi, not at all.
Okay.
It is always good to continually inject new energy and fresh perspectives for innovation, new trends, and to challenge the status quo. I think the biggest mistake is for a board to continue to carry on business with the same directors in the same manner in this digital era and expect a radical change or great performance. They need to have a diverse board with different set skills. Particularly age and gender cannot be overemphasized. As mentioned earlier, diverse boards think creatively and perform better. It may interest you to know that several boards now have young directors below the age of 50. This is an era that requires a rapid technological change. And it is the directors in this age bracket that are technological savvy and will raise the bar for the board. So, on the issue of benefits being outweighed by the cost and time invested in continual replacement, I will say that if the board has a robust, successful or succession plan, I beg your pardon, in place, that will take care of it, because the directors don't retire at the same time. Each director has a tenure of office.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justina. Mr. Umogu, let me come to you for some announcements at this time.
Thank you very much, Fumi. Coming up in a couple of weeks, definitely before the end of the year, will be the ICSAN Train the Trainer certification course for 2020. This initiative is a multifaceted specialized training that has been carefully packaged to build capacity in charter secretaries and other governance professionals who intend to explore the innate provisions in the 2018 Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance. The training program will enable participants conduct board and corporate governance evaluation, which is a requirement of the NCCG Code of 2018. The evaluation can be done in-house, but must be externally validated once in 3 years by persons trained via this type of initiative. The training program will prepare chartered secretaries, company secretaries, lawyers, chartered accountants, and others interested in conducting this type of evaluations for their employers and clients to acquire the relevant knowledge and skills to carry out the assignment. Basically, this trainer certification will empower participants in terms of knowledge to conduct these aforementioned evaluation, and also give them the required techniques to do a good job aside getting the official recognition as a certified trainer by ICSAN. For further information for persons that will be interested in this training, you could write membership at icsan.org or call Ojiji on 0802 378 3043 for further details. Thank you for me.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Umogu. All right, let me come to you, Mr. Ketefe.
Thank you very much, Fumi. The next announcement is on the ACIS 2020 Annual Conference and Dinner. ACIS 2020 Annual Conference and Dinner holds November 19 to 20. This is to inform all members of the Institute, other stakeholders and members of the public generally that the Institute is scheduled to hold a 2020 Annual Conference and Dinner on Thursday 19th and Friday 28th November 2020. The plenary session of the conference will hold on Thursday November 19th, 2020, while the dinner will hold on Friday November 20, 2020. The theme of the annual conference is Entrenching the Right Governance Framework for Economic Development and Sustainability. Entrenching the Right Governance Framework for Economic Development and Sustainability. There are also 3 sub-themes. They are, number 1, the non-normal emerging trends in corporate governance and its implication on business continuity. Second, digitalization and cybersecurity, impact on businesses. Third, the revised Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, opportunities for company secretaries. I will limit it here because I've been told that my time is up. For further detail, please call OGG on 080-2378-3043. OGG on 080-2378-3043. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Ketefe. I have to say a very big thank you to Mrs. Justina LEWA for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you to also Mr. Michael Omogo and Mr. Ketefe. Until next week, when Corporate Governance Platform returns, I am Funmi Omoburiu. Enjoy the rest of the day.